What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW Rampage and Smackdown review for April the 22nd, 2022. On the road to Double or Nothing and on the road to WrestleMania Backlash. Of course, Backlash will be next month, as well as Double or Nothing. Start off with Rampage as usual, where the TBS title was on the line in a shitty-ass main event. Owen Cup qualifier Adam Cole versus Tomohiro Ishii. Eddie Kingston versus Daniel Garcia, with both the JAS and LAX banned from the building. And Lance Archer kills Sir Pentaco. Of course, SmackDown we'll talk about here in a minute. But before we do anything on tonight, so apparently after the tapings were done on Wednesday, Tony Khan came out, thanked the fans, probably as he usually does, and then announced what the AEW wrestling video game is going to be called, AEW Fight Forever. And apparently Adam Cole, Hangman Page, and maybe one or two others came out and led the fans in Schittsburg in chants to be recorded for the game. That's pretty cool. I'm sure anybody who is there, you're going to know that your chants are in the AEW video game when it comes out. Maybe later this year, September, October, November, somewhere around that time. We'll have to wait and see. But AEW Fight Forever coming soon. Also, another thing, we know how Dax and Cash are going up against each other one-on-one this coming Wednesday. Apparently, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, or the Wrestling Observer news, that Bret Hart is AEW is under the impression that Bret the Hitman Hart has signed a lucrative deal with WWE that bans him from working with AEW, but he can work with FTR for Big Time Wrestling because it is independent booking. First off, shame on Bret Hart for taking the devil's deal, but also make your money if you want. Again, shame on Bret Hart because you're getting paid to do absolutely nothing and just have the WWE name, to have WWE call upon you when they need to embarrass a legend. That is all they're going to do with this. This is going to be an ambassador. But when they need Legends Night and they don't have enough legends, Bret, can you come in? We're paying you all this money. Come in here so we can, have a modern wrestler embarrass the legends like Randy Orton did in 2020, which led Paul White and Mark Henry both to leave WWE and head to AEW. So good on Bret. You're gonna make your money doing whatever WWE wants to do, but don't come crying to anybody else when they make a fool out of you on TV because they got the money. They got you signed on the dotted line. And of course, WWE would throw money at Bret Hart. Probably is about the same amount they did for The Undertaker. Even though The Undertaker was only going to StarCast, he wasn't going to spend the night. He wasn't going to AEW or anything in 2019. So I'm not surprised at this at all. But in the end, I think Bret Hart should be ashamed of himself for even taking that offer that WWE gave him. Moving on to the show, we start off with Tomohiro Ishii versus Adam Cole, baby. Looks like Orange Cassidy is finally out of the sling for whatever reason. He was injured a couple weeks ago. And here he is now. He's been wearing a sling for a while, but tonight he was able to put both arms up, smack the mat, trying to encourage Tomohiro Ishii on during the match, so that's good on Orange Cassidy. Cole tries for a couple shoulder tackles, those don't work. Ishii does, and Cole rolls to the outside. He gets back to the ring and backs Ishii into the corner, but celebrates too soon. Ishii steps out and hits a big chop. Woo! Cole rolls outside again. Ishii gives these chase this time and gets a couple of shots and chops to the floor. Ishii backs Cole against the ring post on the floor, but Cole ducks a clothesline and Ishii's arm hits nothing, but the still ring post. Cole rolls Ishii back into the ring and grounds him with some punches. Cole goes for a headlock to ground Ishii. So Ishii and him just having a back and forth match here. Of course, this is all in the name of Owen Hart. Back from break, Ishii powers Cole up for a superplex from the second rope. Ishii sets Cole up for the sliding lariat. Cole ducks and hits a super kick. Cole lowers his knee pad and sets up Ishii for the boom. He ducks it, hits a sliding lariat, gets a 2 count. Ishii looks to have this thing into the bag, but Jay White runs down, pushes Rocky Romero into the steel ring steps. This distracts the referee, allowing Cole to hit the low blow hit the boom. 1, 2, 3. Adam Cole gets the win as Bullet Club once again. A member of Bullet Club once again screws a member of Chaos. Oh, that was that. We see a video earlier today of the security preventing Chris Jericho and the rest of JAS coming into the building. They are banned from the building tonight between Eddie Kingston and Daniel Garcia. Daniel Garcia's like, you know what, dude? We beat their asses before. I can beat Eddie Kingston again. I got this. So he goes in. They leave. That was that. Back from break, we see Lexi Nair catches up with Hook, and she's trying to ask him a question as they're walking because he had his first match, very successful match. You know, Danhausen got in his way and pretty much tried to curse him and it didn't work. He turns the corner. Lexi Nair sees it first. She's got this shocked expression on her face. Hook sees it. And then we look down, and there is nothing but Lay's potato chips all over the floor. Danhausen has an empty bag. He dumped them all on. He's stepping on him. Hook comes up, grabs him by the shoulder, by the clothes, puts him against the wall, and he speaks and says, "Want my attention? Well, now you got it." And he walks away. And he speaks for the first time, and I think this was the perfect first line for him to say. Danhausen's going to get absolutely murdered by Hook whenever that match is going to happen. Will it be next Wednesday? Will it be next Friday? They haven't said anything about a match between these two yet. Or will they hold this off until Double or Nothing? Hook making his main pay-per-view debut, killing Danhausen for all the hookers out there. Where are those hookers at? There you go. Lance Archer versus Serpentico. Serpentico dies to start, but Archer doesn't budge. Archer crushes Serpentico in the corner, brings him out, hits the blackout 1, 2, 3. This match lasted 45 seconds at the most. And Serpentico gets absolutely killed. Archer hits a few more choke slams after the bell, and that was that. See a video highlighting the business relationships between Mark Sterling and Tony Nese. Good for them. When is Tony Nese going to start getting some push? Who knows? It's great to see them actually trying to do something with Tony Nese. I mean, hey, it's better than him just sitting around working dark matches and stuff. They're building up something for Sterling. Sterling has his own little, he has his own little faction of people. Jade, he's the lawyer of MJF. He's the attorney of MJF's. And now he's the whatever with Tony Nese. So he's got his own little faction, yet they're not a faction. They're just more he has his group, but it's not a group, if you know what I mean. Daniel Garcia versus Eddie Kingston. AS and LAX are both banned from ringside and the building, so no shenanigans here whatsoever. Kingston goes right for Garcia in the corner. He's just hitting the body shots, making this guy pay. He has pissed Kingston off for the last time. He is going to fuck this guy up. Garcia rolls the outside. Kingston follows him. Kingston lands some chops on Garcia against the barricade and sends Garcia into the steel ring steps. Garcia catches Kingston and pulls him into the steps. They go back in the ring where Garcia maintains control over Kingston's ground and grounds Kingston. Garcia hits some knees. Kingston's ribs while he's down on the mat. Garcia with a kick to the back of Kingston's head, but only fires up Kingston and reverses into a kick to the back of Garcia. Garcia with more knees to Kingston's midsection. Kingston goes back to his feet, and they trade strikes in the middle of the ring. A little bit further into this match, Garcia hits a German suplex for a 2 count. Garcia stomps Kingston down the corner, but charges into a boot by Kingston, and Kingston falls with a knee to the back of Garcia's neck for the second rope. So, Garcia brings Kingston up by his arm. Kingston slaps Garcia's face to escape and hits an explosive suplex for a 2 count. Kingston signals for the spinning back fist. Garcia blocks it by grabbing Kingston's leg. Kingston hits a backdrop driver, then hits the spinning back fist. And that is all she wrote as he defeats Eddie Kingston. Kingston defeats Daniel Garcia. He takes off his belt. Starts whipping it. Like he's going to whip this guy and tan this guy's rear end. He hits the mic, he has the mic, and he says, he gets down to his face, and he's like, I'm saving this whipping for you. Tells him to send this message to his boss. Just shoves it down, shoves the microphone in his face, puts the belt around his neck, and that is that. Are we looking at a strap match between Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho at Double or Nothing? Kingston won the first match. We'll see what happens. Tony Schiavone is backstage with Keith Lee, and where Scott Lee says he looked up to Taz, but he's tarnished with the match last week in New Orleans. Strickland says Starks and Powerhouse may have won the battle. They haven't won the war. We go back to commentary with Starks and Hobbs are. Starks says Lee and Strickland don't want a war with them because it ain't going to be pretty. Back to Tony Schiavone with Jamie Hayter, the Faker, and Tony Storm. Hayter and Faker on one side, Tony Storm's on the other. And Tony Schiavone is like, one of these women could possibly win this Owen Hart Cup. And the Faker's like, oh yeah, you're damn straight, but it's on this side. And Storm's like, just shut up. Shut up. Other than being the AEW Women's Champion, what have you done? Have you ever left Pittsburgh? You know anything about me? He says she'll see Hayter in the first round at the Owen Hart Foundation, and maybe she'll see the Faker later, if she makes it that far. With the thing, I'll talk about that in a second. Philly Street fights Serena Deeb versus, this is on Wednesday. Philly Street fights Serena Deeb versus Hikaru Shida. Dax Harwood versus Cash Wheeler. These two fought to get this match. They wanted this match. Here's my thing about this. This is a qualifier. Why didn't you have a qualifying match each and then have you guys be in the first round of the Owen Hart Cup? Why be in a qualifying match? Lana match, Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle Riley, and the Young Bucks versus Dante Martin, Dusty Blondes, Lee Johnson, and Brock Anderson, and Lance Archer versus Wardlow. It also came out today that Darius Martin is on the IR again. Another leg injury, so Dante Martin is flying solo once again. If this keeps up with Darius Martin getting injured and Dante just has to go on his own, they'd be better off just getting rid of Top Flight and having Dante Martin be a guy who vies for the TNT Championship. Maybe one day vies for the World Heavyweight Championship again. Remember, he has had one world title shot. But it's bad luck and it sucks for Darius. I hope he's not going to be gone as long. If it's a meniscus tear, if it's another ACL tear, that sucks even more because he'll be gone for another year. And we won't see Top Flight again for another year, and Dante just has to go out it himself. But man, that sucks. CBS Championship match, Jade Cargill versus Marina and Shafia. This match sucked. And here's the thing. Not a big fan of Jade. She's still got a lot to improve. She needs to start learning how to sell. If she could learn how to sell and actually be a good seller, she'd be a lot better off than she is. Marina Shafia. Where do we even start with Marina Shafia? How is it that you are married to one of the most technically gifted wrestlers, professional wrestlers in the game, in Roderick Strong, and you are this bad? How could you not? Like, I know they spar. I know her and Roddy spar. They've talked about it. They have times where they sit there and they work out in the ring together. How are you married to somebody like Roderick Strong and you are absolutely atrocious in the ring? The best part of this match was when they had, when Mark Sterling was distracting Aubrey Edwards. They had Marina Shafir against the barricade, and fucking Red Velvet was like laying shots into her, and then she goes away. You have Jade Cargill sit there, and then both Red Velvet and Kiera Hogan do a kiss to each one of her cheeks. That was the best part of the match. Other than that, this match sucked. Jade Cargill wins. What do you expect? Now, with the way this is going, with what happened on Wednesday, the Faker won him a qualifying match. Red Velvet's in this tournament as well. Red Velvet's a part of the baddie section. So who's to say Jade Cargill takes offense to what Faker had to say about her baddie section? Who's to say it's not Britt Faker versus Red Velvet in the first round, and the Faker gets screwed out of the Owen Hart tournament match against Red Velvet because of Jade Cargill setting up a TBS Women's Championship match at the pay-per-view between the Faker and Jade. That's where I think they're going with this, is the fact that I don't see, like I said, Shida doesn't need the Owen Hart Cup winner, doesn't need to win the Owen Hart Cup. The Faker doesn't need to win the Owen Hart Cup. Those two, out of everybody in this tournament, does not need to win the Owen Hart Cup. It needs to go to somebody who hasn't had anything in this company. can't give it to the women. You can't give it to your former women's champions, because then people are going to be like, oh, you're just pushing the same women over and over. A Ruby Soho, a Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter would be a hell of a person to win that. Make her to a babyface, because that's when the Faker turns on her, and have Jamie Hayter and her have a feud at whatever, like Fight for the Fallen, or what is the other one? Shit. Fight for the Fallen, or the other one that they do. They want to do in like June and July. Oh, you can't do it at the paper. At the I was gonna say you can't have Faker versus Jamie Hayter at the Forbidden Door, because that's AEW versus New Japan. You're not gonna have, because I think they should have thrown Stardom in there too, so we get a couple female women's matches as well. I don't know. We'll see. But that's how that's showing off the air. Again, Marina Shafia has no business being on TV. If they really wanted to make this a big deal, the biggest reason why I think Jade's time as champion needs to end soon is because she's beaten everybody but one woman. She hasn't beaten the Faker, because the Faker was champion for the majority of the time as she was coming up in the AEW. So honestly, like, I can see them having Faker be the first person to win the TBS championship and the Women's World Championship, which would be a shitstorm for that championship. That championship is already off to a bad start, putting on a champion who had no business being champion yet. But, like, they don't have anybody else. Unless you're going to bring Athena in, who else is there going to be for her to face? Like, it's a lot easier for a men's wrestler to go unbeaten and face different competition over and over and over again. Unless you're going to have her go out there and just, like, she faced AQA. She's faced every single person in the AEW locker room. Unless you're going to have her go on Dark or Dark Elevation and beat a bunch of jobbers like a Kenzie Page, if she's still around, or any of these other women, just to boost her record up, which is what they should have been doing, instead of giving her the TBS championship right off the bat, which was a massive mistake. Jade should not be getting the TBS championship until she is like 50, 60, 70 and 0. Something like that, if they wanted to do that. But yeah, I don't see her needing the championship anymore. She's undefeated, and she's beaten everybody they can put in front of her, unless she's going to go out there and face a bunch of jobbers who aren't contracted to AEW, but that wouldn't even make that just makes the championship look even worse. So yeah, I think that I'm predicting that it will be Red Velvet versus Faker in the first round of the Owen Hart Cup tournament, and because Velvet's in the baddie section, and the Faker, I can't call her anything but the Faker just because she just sucks. The match on Wednesday was not good, but again, half of it was not her fault. Daniel Camella is fucking terrible. But she said she made fun of the baddie section. She tried to bury Jade. So it wouldn't surprise me if, when this tournament starts and we have that first round match between the Faker and Red Velvet, Faker loses because of Jade Cargill setting up the match at the pay-per-view, and you don't want to have. That's why Jungle Boy didn't win his match against Kyle O'Reilly, because he's a tag team champion. And he's going to be defending the title at the pay-per-view. So somebody is going to need to someone's going to need to challenge Jade, and there is nobody else. Thunder Rose is the champion. She's going to probably be challenged by Serena Deeb. So there's really only one option. Not a good option, but it's really only one option. Think about it. Going over to Smackdown, and my God, I'm surprised I was awake after the first 15 minutes, because it was Charlotte 9000 and Ronda Rousey. We gotta sign a contract for the I Quit match at WrestleMania Backlash. And holy shit, how to make your women's champion sound like a 10-year-old kid. I beat you at WrestleMania. I beat you at WrestleMania. I beat you at WrestleMania over and over and over again. Oh my God, shut the fuck up. Oh my God, no, I wasn't tapping, I was fixing my bra. Can you let that narrative die? That's the dumbest thing ever. We all saw you tap, Shabbat. Shut the fuck up. But the fact that she, at least 3 or 4 times, and when Ronda tried to speak, she's like, I beat you at WrestleMania. I beat you at WrestleMania. I beat you at WrestleMania. That was the segment. Charbot signed the contract. Drowsy goes to sign it. Charbot flips the table. Drew Gulak was out there because he's a dumbass. And he's been embarrassed the last 2 weeks in a row. So when it's all said and done, he's going to be future endeavored and be out of here. Probably going back to MLW or wherever else he's been at. I don't think he's going to be in AEW. Maybe even Impact. Drew Gulak gets beat up and put into the armbar by Ronda Rousey as she signs the contract, and that was supposed to be a badass move. Oh my god, look at her, that's badass. She just put a guy in an armbar and was signed the contract on top of him. Wasn't a badass move, that was fucking stupid. That was the beginning of the show. 15 minutes. Xavier Woods versus Pete Dunne. 2 weeks ago, it's like, you know how you know that Pete Dunne is already done and buried and they're done with him? He lost 2 weeks ago to the Backwards, which is a roll-up, which is Xavier Woods' finisher now. Yes. Instead of doing the honor roll, which was a damn good fucking move, which was the rolling DDT, or rolling lariat or whatever, he's doing the Backwards, which is a pot reference, by the way, I'm pretty sure. And it's a roll-up. Beat him 2 weeks ago. How do you think they went about that this week? Did you think we went 50-50 booking? 95% of the time, I'd be like, yeah, we went 50-50 booking. This is that 5% where Pete Dunne dominates the entire match and then gets rolled up for the 1, 2, 3. And then commentary buries this guy, calling him a spoiled child. Because he is, like, pissed off. He's pushing, getting pissed off. He jumps over the barricade. He takes a security guy. He throws him over the barricade and just walks out. Hopefully out of WWE, because Pete Dunne deserves better. Backstage, oh my god, Aaliyah is around. We have an Aaliyah sighting as she is flirting with Ricochet. I think the ring announcer for Smackdown be a little pissed off if you're flirting with her man, Ricochet, because yes, Samantha Irvine, the ring announcer for Smackdown, is the real-life girlfriend of Ricochet. What happened between him and Katana Chance, aka Casey Catanzaro, not my business. But he wants to be champion. He wants to be one of the all-time greats. Jinder comes in and says, ha ha ha, you got a fluke. If you're such a fighting champion, why don't you defend that title again? Ricochet says, fine, I'll defend it against you and anyone else. So Shanky steps up and says, then defend it against me. Ricochet says, you're on. Next week, Ricochet versus Shanky. Obviously, Jinder Mahal is not happy about this because he was trying to get another Intercontinental Championship match when neither one of these guys have any business being in a championship match. Volta versus Teddy Goods. I feel so bad for Volta. This guy was a killer. A man to be feared. Every time the guy would slap somebody in the chest, the crowd would go, oh, or something like that. This crowd didn't give a shit about Volta. I mean, one mistake they made. They had him come up, no pomps and circumstances, no fanfare, no video packages. No nothing. Just have Marcel Barthel come out there and say, this guy is the ring general, the guy who wants to keep the match sacred, yada yada yada. Comes out with half red, half black trunks, a red trench coat instead of his iconic black trench coat. And they've done everything to kill this guy. Nobody cared about him beating up a jobber. This guy would have made his debut the night after WrestleMania. He would have got a huge response. But he didn't. Because WWE had to have him go put over Braun Breaker and then bring him to SmackDown. And right now, nobody cares. Maybe eventually they will. But this is WWE. If he's coming out there and nobody gives a shit right now, do you think Vince McMahon is going to have the time and the patience to allow Vulture to get over with the crowd? No. Vince McMahon's going to watch these last few weeks that he's actually been out there and go, what is so special about this guy? Look at the crowd. They're not reacting at all. Not even, like, future endeavor, Volta after that. That's where it's going to go. Volta will be future endeavored by the end of the year. Because, or he'll be on Monday Night Raw chasing the 24/7 championship. And he deserves way better than this. He didn't need to change anything. Volta, the music, the presentation, Marcel Bartel, Fabian Eichner, the whole Imperium thing was great. And because you didn't come up with it, Vince, because you didn't come up with it, Bruce, because you didn't come up with it, Laurinaitis, you guys had to sit there and change every fucking thing about Volta. He was a killer. He has the ring general. He doesn't need a damn thing changed about him, and you changed everything, and it's killed a once promising guy that everyone said could be the guy to take down Roman Reigns. He's not even a threat to Roman Reigns. I guarantee you, if you put him up against Roman Reigns, they'll have Roman Reigns beat him in about 5 minutes. One Superman punch, one spear, and that'll be it. And that'll be all. Beats this guy had no chance, Vulture wins. Aggressive match flow with OK Bro and the Usos, yada yada yada. Matt Riddle versus SmackDown Tag Team Champion Jey Uso. We go to the ring and out comes SmackDown Tag Team Champions, caking on each other. And another one of those where I thought we're going to get 50-50 booking. Surprisingly, we didn't get 50-50 booking as Matt Riddle has beaten both Jimmy and Jey of the Usos. Now begs the question, do you think that RK Bro is going to win the tag team title match at the pay-per-view? Hell no. We're going to get new unified tag team champions, and they're going to be the Usos. Plain and simple. Good match here overall. If you've seen, like, the problem with this is it's a rematch of sorts. We've seen the Usos versus RK Bro in the different iterations. We don't need to see it anymore. I don't want to see you could do so much better having Matt Riddle versus somebody, Jimmy Uso versus somebody, Jey Uso versus somebody, Randy Orton versus somebody, while the other teams were on commentary, or the other guys were on commentary, or watching from the stage or something. You don't have to have them fight each other till they get to the fucking pay-per-view. It's not that fucking hard. Oh my goodness. Reigns was in his locker room. He was not a happy camper. Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and Naomi come out for an interview. The Boss and Glow are here. They're happy and they broke up. They've beaten up everybody except for Natalya and Natalya and Shayna Baszler. Remember when Natalya and Tamina were the Women's Tag Team Champions, and now Tamina is off doing 24/7 garbage? Yeah, me neither. Basically, at WrestleMania Backlash, we're gonna get Tamina and Natalya and Shayna Baszler versus Sasha Banks and Naomi. Basically, what you're gonna get. Cat Moss is working backstage, and Corbin's like, "Oh, please, Moss, please come back to me. I need you as my lackey again, please, oh, please." It's not exactly how he said it, but that's basically what he was doing. He came crawling back to Matt Cat and was like, "Dude, I know we said some harsh things, but can you please come back?" And Moss told a funny joke. He's like, "That's a better chance of you getting a full head of hair back than me actually coming back to be your lackey. That ship has sailed." And I actually laughed about that one. So Moss actually getting some actual funnier jokes in here. It wasn't completely funny, but it was like one of those, funny. Cat Moss versus Angel Garza. Before this, we see a vignette for Raquel Rodriguez, which, oh my god, she got a video package letting us know she's coming to SmackDown and she's going to have a match next week. Why couldn't you do this for Volta? Why couldn't you get at least one video package before he made his debut? Look at Veer. You gave us video package after video package after video package after video package after video package. For months, for Veer. When he made his initial debut, he got a pop. People knew who the fuck he was. Oh my god, Veer's finally here. I'm here to see Veer. But no, WWE, for whatever reason, has gotten away from doing video packages for NXT call-ups. Here's the thing, Vince. Nobody watches NXT anymore. Nobody likes NXT anymore. The only people watching NXT are people your fucking age. So out comes Los Lotharios. They kiss another woman, probably another wrestler, on the cheek. Apparently they do it to actual real people, which is absolutely disgusting. One on the house show circuit. Like, WWE decided, oh, wow, you like this? You think we do 50-50 booking of sorts? Nah, not here. Madcap Moss beats both the Lethal Lovers. And then Baron Corbin beats him up afterwards, hits the end of the day, steals the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal Trophy, which I swear was a lot bigger than that at one point. And that was that. We see Sami Zayn creeping around backstage. He approaches the locker room with Roman Reigns. Sami hesitates, but he looks like he's about to knock on the door. We go to commercial break. Back from break, we get a video of the Make-A-Wish celebrating World Wish Day. I do not care, because I have nothing to do with it. By the way, it's back to the Bloodline is backstage. Usos are disappointed with the loss to Riddle, and Jey Uso says it won't happen again. Roman looks disappointed. Heyman walks up and says they have a guest. Sami Zayn says it's good to see Reigns. He starts off by acknowledging him and complimenting him on how good his work has been as of late. He goes on about how he's the locker room leader and Reigns has his own, and he's heard things and seen things, and he saw Drew getting chummy with OK Bro, and now they're going to be lumberjacks in tonight's match. Sami says he's not a rat or a snitch, but they had some disrespectful things about Reigns' family. Henry goes on and says his reputation has taken a hit after hit, and now people think he's afraid of McIntyre. Says he needs to beat Drew to get his respect back, and he wants help from the Bloodline. Reigns tells the Usos that he had people on his show talking trash about him, so go take his name out of their mouth. Michael Cole sends us to Chapter 3. I can't stand this shit. This Lacey Evans story is the most garbage, cringe-inducing shit I have ever seen on television. The fake tears, the fake story. I don't buy any of this for a minute. It sounds so disingenuous, so fake, so phony, just a way to try and get sympathy for Lacey Evans, so when she comes out for the first time in well over the year, even though they want you to try and forget the fact that they tried to imply when she said she was pregnant that it was Ric Flair's baby, and now they're trying to make you pretend like, oh, she's this good-hearted woman, even though for the entirety of her entire run, she has been nothing but a fucking bitch. I don't care about it at all. Lumberjack Max, Sami Zayn versus Drew McIntyre. Sami tried to run away the entire time. And then, oh yeah, before we get to the match, we have a Beat the Clock challenge next week for Ronda Rousey and Show About 9000. It's going to be an I Quit Beat the Clock challenge. And Ricochet defends his title against Shanky. So, basically during this match, what happened is, in very embarrassing fashion, we had Sami Zayn trying to get away everywhere. The Lumberjacks doing their job. Until he gets to where the RK Bro are. Usos, who came out, super kick RK Bro, beat up RK Bro. They walk away. Sami Zayn finally escapes, gets up to the ring, up to the crowd. Adam Pearce says, you know what, Sami? You're not going to pull this shit next week. There's going to be no running or anything, because next week, you're facing Drew McIntyre inside a steel cage. And the show goes off the air after, of course, dumbass known as Jinder Mahal comes in, attacks Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre beats him up, hits the bro kick, hits the Claymore, and that's how the show went off the air. A worthless 2 hours. The USFL was on tonight. I'd rather watch that than this show. They might not have had a bigger crowd. They had like maybe 50 people there. But that was more entertaining than this fucking show. This show fucking sucks. Like, oh yeah, and on top of that, Xia Li had a backstage segment. We haven't seen Xia Li in months after she had her one match against Natalya. And apparently, she's a heel. Because she was the protector, but when she needed protected, there was no one for her. So she only protects herself. Bitch, you had one fucking match. One fucking match. and they're already turning a heel. Why? This company just makes no sense because, you need a bunch of heel women on this roster. Xia Li, who has not been seen in months, comes back and, I'm not going to be the protector anymore. I'm just going to protect myself. Stupid. That is your Smackdown and AEW Rampage review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the Kross Club, find me on twitch.tv/the and find me on Instagram at the Kross Club, and I'll see you guys on Monday for Raw, where we celebrate 20 years of the Viper Randy Orton. Until then, mine is the Kross, and I'll see you guys later.